him from being even recognized as a human being, number one, and then the art form that was usually commodified by and appropriated by the dominant white culture and then used to its advantage. Michael Jackson already in his music took back the prerogative of expressing an African-American identity by an artist in the 20th century. So that when you see Michael and Elvis on the same track, I think ultimately Michael Jackson begins to moonwalk away from Elvis Presley's wiggle, and he begins to express one of the most profound articulations of human possibility that we've seen in the 20th century. And don't forget, Tavis, here was a man who went through enormous changes. When you saw the movie The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, that was Michael's story writ large. Born as an elderly person, Benjamin Button was, in the F. Scott Fitzgerald novel and in the film starring Brad Pitt, he dies as a newborn child. Michael Jackson's childhood was one of enormous, prodigious production. He was a child prodigy. He was a wunderkind. He was a chocolate genius who was capable of, as a child, evoking emotions that were far beyond his age. Think about his recitation at 10 years old of Smokey Robinson's When I Had You. I mean, that was so monumental that, like Aretha Franklin, when Otis Redding heard her sing his respect, he said, that woman done took my song. I know Smokey Robinson, when he heard 10-year-old Michael Jackson sing that song, said, that man done took my song. So here was a man who was denied his childhood, who was an adult, and then when he became an adult, tried to salvage with disastrous consequences to a certain degree his own childhood. Maybe F. Scott Fitzgerald's words can be twisted. There are no second childhoods in America, but Michael Jackson gave us, out of the depth of his suffering, a transcendental possibility of looking at black identity through the prism of black art, and therefore the universal application of our humanity has been untouched. Elvis Presley can't see that.
I want to play a clip here from James Ingram on this program not too long ago, in fact. Then I want to get a response from Dr. West and the question I have for him. But first, a clip from the great artist, James Ingram. You know him for so many hits and Grammy Awards in his own right, brought to us, introduced to many of us by the great Quincy Jones, who, of course, worked with Michael Jackson on Thriller and other albums. But James, on this program not long ago, I asked him what it was like working with Michael when Michael recorded the song PYT, Pretty Young Thing, one of my favorites on the Thriller album, written by James Ingram for Michael Jackson. Here's what James had to say about that recording session.
PYT.
PYT, Pretty Young Thing.
Yeah.
Say about that song. I love it.
Well, the thing was, when we went in the studio, right?
Right.
This is my first time seeing Michael sing, right? And so I've never seen anybody do this.
Right.
Michael did this.
Yeah.
He was like, where did you come from, baby? And ooh, won't you take me there right away? Won't you, baby? Tenderoni, you got to be. Spark my nature, sugar, fly with me. Don't you know now? I said, oh, my God. Everybody I know, we be holding our breath trying to get everything on that microphone. I'm like this. Yamo, baby. And so Michael came out sweating that thing. He said, yeah. Am I singing it right? I said, Michael, you killed it singing it however you want to sing it.
So he danced and singing in the studio.
I've never seen nobody in my life, and I've been into a lot of sessions, right? I've never seen nobody.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to hold their breath for the mic. Michael don't care.
Yeah.
No, Michael is the genius that he is, brother.
Yeah. Great story, Dr. West and Dr. Dyson, about Michael being the only cat in history that would dance in the studio while he was recording the track for release. What breath control, what a genius he was. Let me ask you, Doc, right quick before my time runs out. You made a point earlier about the joy that Michael Jackson brought to us. And Dr. Dyson takes me in this direction to ask you now whether or not we did not allow him that same joy in his life. What I mean to suggest is we're such fans of his. Every time he walked out the house and every he came out to do anything, one could argue that we did not allow him, even at 50, not just to Dyson's point, to have a childhood, but to have a life that he could live out publicly anyway.
No, it's very real. I think those who choose to find joy in serving others, those who choose to find their voice, to pursue their vocation, and to act on their vision oftentimes have to sacrifice much, my brother. It's almost like a crucifixion in terms of the cross you have to bear. And we reap the fruits of the resurrection in terms of the power that emanates from his sacrifice. He sacrificed his childhood because he loved us so, and he didn't just entertain us, he sustained us. I can't conceive of myself without Who's Loving You by the young Michael, by I'll Be There. You see. One can go on and on and on. So that in that regard, it's part and parcel of the calling of the great artist, though, brother. I don't know of a great artist who did not sacrifice and thereby have to wrestle with depths of loneliness and sadness. And I pray for all the great artists. I thank God Brother Prince is still around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, think of his sacrifice, which, we know not of. But it just goes hand in hand with any of us who are determined to find joy in serving others. Long live the genius, the legacy of Michael Joseph Jackson. There's no one like him. There will never be anyone like him. We shall keep track of his art and his music, even as we pray for his humanity, and most importantly, the living, those who love him, ourselves and his blessed family.
Got a minute to go, Dr. Dyson. Is Dr. West, if Dr. West is right, in fact, about the fact that any great artist has to offer up some sacrifice to be the great artist, was it worth it for Michael Jackson?
Well, there's no question. I think that he did derive an ultimate sense of joy and satisfaction in what others enjoyed from him that was denied to himself. There's no question that the transcendent art that he created was a means, an instrument, a vehicle for others to experience what he didn't. His own father told him that he teased him that he was ugly. Michael reconstructed his face, deconstructed the African features into a spooky European geography of fleshly possibilities, and yet what we couldn't deny, that even as his face got whiter and whiter, his music got blacker and blacker, his soul got more deeply rooted into existential agony and the profound social grief that black people are heir to. And what he did was he allowed us, through his voice and his instrument, to see a glimpse of the heaven that he himself was denied. That sacrifice was the ultimate source of redemption that he gave to us. And as Dr. West has said, we celebrate that genius, we thank him for the sacrifice, and we love his soul wherever he resides now in a heavenly place that he gave to us before he left here.
Georgetown professor Michael
Brother Jackson and I were blessed to see it together. We saw it together in the Meadowlands. You remember those, brother?
Yes, we did. 1989, brother.
Oh, we saw it at the Meadowlands. In it with man, in the mirror with the candles in the dark.
Yeah, we're right there, brother.
Never forget
right
that,
there.
brother.
We're right there.
We're right there, man.
They are two of America's best social and cultural critics. Michael Eric Dyson, professor at Georgetown. The new book, Can You Hear Me Now? Cornell West, professor at Princeton. His upcoming memoir, Brother West, Living and Loving Out Loud. Love you both. Glad to have you on. No other conversation on TV like it tonight, and I'm glad to have moderated. Thanks for honoring me by coming on. I appreciate both of you.
Thank you so very much.
Blessings, my brother.
At the core of